I think a lot of times it's a good idea, like if you're trying to find something new, you're trying to get like a feel for something. I think it's a good idea to either have it on a day where you have zero expectations of like really getting in a good training session at all. Like let's say you're like, oh, I'm going to try out the bands that Matt's talking about. Well, you don't have to necessarily go in and have a full workout with bands. No. Just put bands on the bar. At the end of a workout, you already did your workout.
Play around with it.
Yeah, fuck around with it a little bit and see how it feels and just take note. Okay, it felt that way with 95 pounds on. I think that felt pretty good. I'm actually going to give this a try the next time I come in. Well, that's the way I've always done it.
Go back and with all the shit on the internet, right or wrong, go fucking read a little. Holy shit. I remember Dave just posted like a week or two ago about how pissed off he gets answering questions. And he goes, I'll send somebody a fucking 2-page article, which is not that long. And they're like, no, I want the answer. The answer's in the fucking article, asshole. We call it assholes. People that want to ask you something, but they're not fucking using it. And so that's something you got to deal with. But here's my thing with that whole situation, Mark, is it comes back down to what we were talking about already. Consistency. It's all about consistency. So go experiment a little bit. Play around with it in a non-stress environment. If you're not competing or you're not trying to break a world record, what the fuck's your rush anyway? That's what I can't get. I get guys coming to the gym all the time. They're like, man, I really want to get my bench up. I want blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. How much you bench? 225. Shut the fuck up. Start loving to train first. And then you'll get 500 one of these days. But you can't go from 225 to 500 with a magic trick. It's a fucking desire to learn, experiment, and constantly progress yourself. I mean, when I did my first bench meet, it's going to sound insane. I benched 250 at 13. Okay? Fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
It took me a year and a half to bench 315. It took me 3 more years to bench 380. 2 more years to bench 380. And then a year and a half later, I did 475. Think about that timeline. Now, here's where it really gets fucked up. I benched 500 at 19 at Worlds, and it took me 3 years to bench 520. Then it took me 4 more years to bench 600.
Damn.
I don't give a fuck. I just like training. But see, everybody goes, oh, I want to bench 600. Okay, stick. And let me tell you something about that. Every time I stuck, I learned something.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing enough back. I wasn't doing enough triceps. I didn't have my work capacity high enough. Blah, 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 blah. So the fucking sticking points are the learning points if you're willing to sit down and analyze what you're fucking doing. Sticking points are education points. And most people stick, then they don't get any smarter, then they don't get any better, then they fucking quit.
Yeah.
Instead of going, what's the problem here and how do I fix it? Same thing with business. Okay, I didn't make as much money this year as I did last year. What's the problem? Well, I wasn't marketing my manuals right, wasn't getting equipment out on time, and people canceled their orders, whatever the fuck it is. But the point is that self-analyzation in both training, business, and life is the key if you know where to take that information and actually make it work for you. That's the trick. And that's why you find successful people don't care about roadblocks. They want to learn from the roadblock. So 1, it doesn't happen again. And 2, it's never that issue ever again.
Yeah.
There's always new issues that pop up, and we constantly change. I mean, who'd have thought 30 years ago the internet was going to be this powerful for business and all this other shit? I mean, your business wouldn't be successful if the internet wasn't around.
No, it's only on the internet, pretty much.
Me and you would have both just owned a fucking gym.
Yeah.
Am I right? So how did anybody know? How was our parents going to teach us that? They weren't. We had to evolve.
I would say, here's our P.O. box. Send me $50 for a slingshot.
Yeah. So that was a pretty close voice too. So think about it in that perspective, right? Like that's huge. So the point is that evolution is in anything is key. You have to fucking be thinking about the next step or where your weaknesses are or what you need at this time. And sometimes it's not simple.
Power Project family, how's it going? Now, on this podcast, we talk all about recovery, which is why 8 Sleep are the beds that we sleep on. Now, 8 Sleep is the Tesla of beds. Not only does it track your heart rate, your HRV, your tosses and turns, it also tracks how long you've been in each sleep cycle, and the mattress does something amazing. It changes its temperature through the night to make sure that in each sleep cycle, you're getting the optimum sleep for you. Now, I know you guys are interested in checking them out, so head to 8sleep.com/powerproject, and you'll automatically be able to save $150 off of your Pod Pro cover or your Pod Pro cover and mattress combo. Check them out. Enjoy the video.
And not to go into a deep story, but I hit the 3rd highest total of all time raw in 2013. So I go from equipped to raw and hit the third highest total right off the fucking rip.
Yeah.
And what happened was that I had just benched 600 at a contest. So I was like the 15th guy to ever do it. And Halbert handed it out to me. It was fucking awesome, right? Because Halbert's like, dude, I know you can bench 600. So we trained for it. He got injured. I didn't. Smoked 600. Long story short is, so I'm looking at these records. Dan Kovacs' record, 2202. I'm like, I can fucking beat it, man. I know I can. So I go to the meet. I squat. I hit like 788. Pretty good for, no knee wraps, no sleeves. Walked out. I didn't know it was a walkout meet till I got there. Fucking, that sucked. So anyway, I go to the bench and I already smoked 600 at a meet. I only benched 574. I tried 606 or whatever and I fucking got crushed. I'm driving home like, what the fuck happened? Because I had just done like 565 for a triple. I knew 611 was there. And I drove back home and I'm thinking in my car and I had the epiphany that no other fucking powerlifter's ever had. I wasn't fit enough. The squat kicked my fucking ass and I was too tired.
Oof.
So Wenning warm-ups started. And I with the bench. So I start, and you saw me the next meet. I'm doing 35 pound, and I try to tell people it's not about progressing the fucking weights. Nobody wants to listen. 35 pound dumbbells for 4 sets of 25 is all I use for the next 6 months. Just to get a little, in my mind, it was pre-fatigue and just conditioning. What I was doing is potentiating. So I did some lats, some tries, and some presses, 35 pound dumbbells. 9 months later, I go to Raw Unity and fucking smoke 606. You remember it?
Yep.
After squatting the world record. So I had one of the highest subtotals in history, especially under 300 pounds, because at that point, I was only at 295, 290.
Yeah.
And I started to realize, like, holy fuck, I was onto something. So the next meet, I institute it with the squats. Squat goes from 832 to 865 and a half. Bench goes to 611. I was like, and I didn't change anything in my training other than I added in the warm-ups, conditioning, GPP before I did my big lift, so I couldn't get tired.
And everything about the Wenning warm-ups on your YouTube channel?
There's some on there, yeah.
Some on there?
Yeah,
Okay.
we show the workouts on the Patreon on how to do it because there's a lot of variation. You need variation constantly. But what I find is the biggest problem with most people when they do the Wenning warm-up is they try to go way too heavy. It should never affect the main lift. So depending on what you can do, how good a shape you're in is what you can do for the warm-ups.
Yeah.
So if you're a big fat power lifter that's never really done any conditioning work, you might be at 20 pound dumbbells to not affect your bench that day. Then you work it up to 25s, then 30s. But this is talking over months and months.
Hey, I know you guys enjoyed the video, so like, comment, subscribe, and head to the Power Project Discord below. Talk to y'all later.